Hi, I am Natalia. I'm the founder of High Hospitality Group, which is the hospitality group that owns Speaks Glam Bar and many other restaurants. So very, very excited to be here with you today. And I am waiting on Matt Harris, and he's going to be joining us in any second now.
So
Well, I'm
hi.
very hi. I'm so grateful for you and your time and expertise, and for everybody who is joining us. We have some amazing questions and answers for you. As you guys
Yeah.
know, probably at Six Clan Bar, we celebrate the end of Prohibition every day. And however, on December 5th, 1933 is when was the official end of Prohibition.
Right.
So every year on December 5th, we throw a party to remember at both of our locations of Speaks Clam Bar in Lake Ranch and in St. Edmund Circle. So as Matt, when I met Matt, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. You're a pro expert and a pro historian. And everybody gets so dressed up when they come to our event on December 5th. So I was like, how about we bring you on and you share with the viewers, with our guests, uh, all the things about birth? Because I think I threw like 30 questions at you when we first met. So I'm very, very excited. Do you want to do like a quick intro to yourself?
Oh yeah. Sure. Hi everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching later. And my short intro is that I'm a pearl designer, pearl historian, pearl fashion expert. And I've got to design pearls for some cool celebrities like Britney Spears and Deborah Messing and Victoria's Secret models and national news anchors. But what I really like the most is teaching people about pearls because I think pearls have like an untold story. And in history, they've been the most important, interesting, intriguing, and influential gem in the history of the world, actually. And so I kind of feel it's my task to get out there and just teach people about pearls so they can fall in love with them, like I have.
No, it's amazing. So I went to this event yesterday and it was funny because I saw this gentleman and he's a like a celebrity hairdresser, I would say,
Yeah.
and he had a strand of pearls on him, and I'll have to send you that photo of us
Nice.
together because he has a strand of pearls, and then I send you because I had like a full stack of pearls going on yesterday.
I saw
Um,
yours. That was quite the stack. That was great.
yeah, so we had a lot of fun, and pearls, I feel like they're just beautiful, and so, but it was very curious for me, and I know that we have questions, that we had people submit, and you and I have discussed, but I guess where I'd like to start with is um, what, and that is like purely on history. Was there like a specific uh century, I guess, when pearls kind of became popular, or did they go kind of through ups and downs or waves of popularity?
Oh my gosh, how do I make this short? You
I'm
guys can
sorry.
sit here for 3 hours. Okay, here's the shortest version I can think of. Pearls throughout history. I mean, the pearl jewelry is outdated, been around longer than diamond jewelry, emerald jewelry, sapphire
Oh.
jewelry. The oldest pearl discovered is in about 6000 BC,
Oh my
as
gosh.
jewelry. Yeah. And so pearls have always been like the world's most important gem. And that's why you go to a museum, you see the kings and queens wearing pearls. And there's a million stories about this Cleopatra having the most expensive banquet in history by taking the most expensive pearl ever bought off her earring and dumping it in a glass of wine to dissolve it. She had a bet with Mark Antony,
Oh
who was a
my
general in Julius Caesar's army. Uh, one of a million stories. But as far as pearls, is there a century, say, for example, that they've become popular? I mean, no, because they've always been popular,
God.
but the
Mhm.
1900s, and we'll talk about that as we talk about the Prohibition days, saw a new type of pearl that came in that became popular, like the pearls you're wearing right now, for example. And the pearl I'm wearing right now, these didn't exist
I
before.
love your pearl. Every time I see you, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like that's the
Love
the
this one.
gorgeous pearl.
Yeah.
Can you just like bring it closer to the camera? Is it possible? It's
Yeah,
just so
that's a
stunning if you guys can see.
Tahitian. I think that's like 18 millimeter Tahitian, and that's a whole nother world that we're not going to talk about
That is
today.
a
But
whole
I'd like
other
to
world. Not
just
not today. Yeah, not today. So today we really want to share about flappers and what why did they all wear those long shed pearls? So where would you like to kick us off?
well, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people since I learned about your party you're doing in your restaurants, about what you and I are talking about. And there's so many people that are going to flapper parties. It's not
Yeah.
just you as cool as you, but I love that stuff. And there's so many people. There's people that are on this chat right now because I know they said they joined that just love flapper fashion in the
Hmm.
20s, the Roaring 20s, the Jazz Age, and but I think a lot of people don't know what it meant, right? And so why did flappers close your eyes right now, everybody, and like picture a flapper and see what they're dressed as. And do you picture pearls? A lot of you do, because pearls were a huge part of flapper fashion, but you're also looking at a short skirt, bobbed hair. You're looking at like tassels that flap around. You're looking at showing a lot of skin, you know, uh, thick makeup, mascara. These are all things that at the time were not cool for women, right? So it was maybe that's where we start. So what is a flapper, right? And a flapper, we know the word, but let's go way back. So the term flapper originates from the word flap. And the word flap, it means like a newly fledged duckling or baby partridge. And that started to mean, well, these are young girls that are trying to kind of flap and learn how to fly, kind of like a little bird would do. Yeah. And it started out in
Wow.
more of Europe, as meaning maybe a teenager that's just trying to get her wings. And then eventually, as it moved over to America, it started developing into more of a like a really high spirited girl, and eventually a woman, but with like loose character and high spirit and independent. And when you got to the 1920s, flappers was like a common term. And at that point, you're talking about a pleasure seeking party girl who drank, which was unheard of in public for women, who smoked, who used slang, who flirted. And in the 1920s, just coming out of the Victorian area, these were all things that weren't really appropriate for women. But there was this big pent up sort of need for women to like the societal change
Yeah.
in the way the world viewed women. And so, well, let me dig into it a little bit more. So that's where the term flapper comes from. Oh, as a matter of fact, I printed this. I found there's a magazine called The Flapper in 1922. And let me read to you what the flapper says a flapper is, because we're getting it right from the course. I got to read this. All
You're
right,
a
this is
true historian.
yeah,
I love it.
1922, The Flapper magazine. It says, this is their description of a flapper. She's independent, full of grace, a pleasing form, a pretty face, is often saucy, also pert, and doesn't think it wrong to flirt. Knows what she wants, and she gets it too. Receives the homage that's her due. But she is true as true can be. Her will's unchained, her soul is free. She charms the young, she jars the old. Within her beats a heart of gold. She furnishes the spice of life and makes some boo a darn good wife.
Wow.
That
That is
flapper
such a
degree.
That
So,
is so cool. Yes.
so
For
that
those of us
that's
at
a
least, yeah,
yeah.
a couple of new people joined us. So
Hey, everybody.
I'm one with Matt. Hello, welcome, welcome. So we're talking about flapper fashion and pearls, and Matt just shared the most incredible passage from the Flapper magazine from 1922.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Now I
that was
see
so
Jordan
cool.
coming in. Hi, Jordan. So I just read a description of what Flapper magazine called it a flapper, and basically before we go on to prohibition and whatnot, the definition of a flapper by the time we got the 20s was really a woman that kind of had a disdain for the traditional norms that were set by the Victorian era normalities of women and the women should behave, right? So you couldn't drink in public. You'd have to wear a corset. You'd have long hair. Flirting was bad. And these ladies just, were empowered to try to change this norm. So I just read this part from the magazine, but there's one other thing that I got out of the magazine that was interesting too. So now it says what did a flapper look like? So the magazine's definition, this is again, it's called The Flapper, 1922, said, a flapper looks like the following, quote, bobbed hair, powder and rouge on the face, use of lipstick, plucked eyebrows, low cut sleeveless bodice, absence of corset, little underclothing, and often only a teddy, high skirts, and roll your own stockings. So we're picturing that, right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah. This is fascinated. I'm gonna have to find a copy of that magazine and track it down, and maybe we'll post something on our pages. It's really fun. Thank you for finding that.
Right. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, you just I guess you just never know where you're gonna discover. Oh, there's somebody from a restaurant in Lake of
Hey,
Rage. Hello,
hey,
hello, hello.
welcome everybody.
Awesome. Welcome. So we are live with Matt here, and we're talking about all the pearls and the party that we are throwing on December 5th, our annual end of Prohibition party. So we are really getting into flapper fashion and all the pearls. So now the big question: the long strands of pearls. Why?
Oh, okay, so if you got a minute, it's let's go deep into the why, okay, rather
Sure.
than like the high end why,
Mhm.
okay? So we talked about the attitude of flappers wanting to kind of change the societal, norms and imprint put on women, and it was kind of like the perfect storm coming into 1920. So coming in 1920, and this will answer your question kind of in a long way, but it makes it more
I
impactful.
love the
So
long
coming
way.
into 1920, you got World War One ended, right? And sadly, there was a lot of men killed in World War One, which mean you had a lot of single women in the States. Now, a lot of these women also, for the first time in history, really women didn't tend to work. It wasn't a thing as much until World War One, where there's a lot of jobs for women. Women started working and they got paid well. And a lot of them didn't want to leave the workforce once they started working because they were earning their own income, which gave them a sense of, independency. So you've got single women, you've got women making money, you've got Henry Ford making Ford cars, but they were much more affordable then. So they were much more accessible, which means now these women could buy cars and go from, wherever they were into the cities. And you kind of see how this is building up. Oh, then you got this economic boom. So the GDP in the 20s increased something like 40% between 1921 and 1929. And so the national wealth was like ridiculously, yeah, I think it almost doubled. So you've got wealth, single ladies, transportation, you got jazz. So jazz, like, what 1910s in New Orleans and kind of like moved up. And there's nothing like jazz, right? And then you've got prohibition. So prohibition, and your party's theme prohibition party, right?
Yeah. It, so we
Yeah.
celebrate the end of Prohibition because December 5th, 1933 is when
1933.
yes, is when
So, okay, well, it started in 1920, I believe. Oh, and guess what else happened in 1920, everybody? Women got the right to vote. So this was like a decades long thing. And the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was passed. So now you've got like women that are like, that fought for decades for the right to vote now, and they've got money and they've got independence and they're single. You got jazz and you got prohibition. Now, what did prohibition do to it all? Well, prohibition was the American government decided, let's cut off alcohol manufacture, transport, and sale of alcohol, anything over 0.5%, if I recall. And they figured that prohibition was to end crime. And they thought that all crime in America, all of it, was because of alcohol.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, like the night before prohibition passed, there's like jails that were selling to private parties because they thought they might do flower farms and things like that, and that all the prisoners would be gone. But Americans, right? So you tell us we can't do something, and then we're going to do it. We're going to do it big. So prohibition led to the speakeasies and the underground clubs. The secret.
bathtub gym.
Yeah, God, I wish I could go back there for a week and live in that. So, it was the alcohol was being sold in these secret nightclubs, bars. Some of them were like in the seedy parts of town and basements. Other ones were in like really famous, bars. If you guys ever heard of the 21 Club in New York, they actually have speakeasy in there. And there was actually these underground tunnels beneath the 21 Club that went back to a wine cellar. Anyways, all this was going on, the perfect storm, like I talked about, that gave these ladies a chance to get out and do the following: drink, get inebriated, which was not considered cool in public for a lady before. Wear these fashions that they were doing, dance, hang out, flirt with men, dance to jazz. So how does the pearls come into it? Well, just as if their fashions, the mascara, the rouge, makeup, the skirts, the tight fitting stuff, the teddies, kind of showed off that these were independent women. Big statements. It was a time of big statements. They called it the Roaring Twenties, as you guys know.
Mm.
So as with big statements in all this other fashion, and big statements with going to a club and holding martini in your hand, pearls became very, very, very popular. And if you Google flapper girl, you don't even need to put the word in pearls. You're going to see a lot of pictures of them with pearls, but not only short pearls. They wore a lot of long pearls,
Mhm.
and they wore the long strands over the short strands. Well, why? Because they moved. So when you're on the dance floor, the long strands gonna like flap around and make a statement. So it's all about the statement, making the movement. And so you see these huge, huge pearl strands, kind of like the ones you guys didn't see. Natalia, but she sent me a picture. I've got some here, big, long 50, 60-inch strands, of pearls, or two or three or whatnot. So imagine, dancing in the speakeasy and these flapping around, right? And making the noise. I don't know if you guys can hear the noise.
Mhm.
It was a statement. So the reason pearls were worn, and long pearls, because the statement. The same with cocktail jewelry. So if you guys heard the term cocktail ring,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? It's called cocktail ring because, I should have grabbed one. I got some close by, but
That's okay.
imagine on my finger, a
Yeah.
really huge ring. The idea was that you hold your cocktail. I should have brought a martini glass. I've got my sparkling water. You're holding your martini glass. You got the big, like 20 karat, whatever. And it's usually like the synthetic stone. They weren't real at the time. They're making a lot of synthetic rubies and emeralds,
Mm.
and you've got your statement, your outfit. You're in a speakeasy. You're a woman drinking a martini, which is unheard of in public. And now what the heck? You got your cocktail ring and you got your pearls.
Wow. What an image. What a
Yeah, right.
visual you built. That was unbelievable. So cool. But it makes sense. I love the idea of the pearls just kind of moving with the body during the dance. And it's quite a statement with all of the changes that were happening in the country, and it all came together. It makes sense with with the right to vote and women becoming more independent and just kind of like making a statement. Look at me, I am strong, independent woman, and sitting in the cocktail bar having a martini, and probably have, I don't know, I think they smoked back then too, those long, very long.
Yeah. So that
uh
was not, it was considered not right for women to smoke in public either. So
mm,
add that to the mix. That's right.
yeah,
On top of it all. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so very, very interesting. So now it all makes sense why whenever we see flapper fashion, and you were right, a lot of women wore yeah, a lot of people throw these parties. They're very popular now. They're kind of becoming the thing now. And then I saw there's the feathers that go in the hair, or some
Yeah.
sort of a strand that goes around the hair too. So it's all about making a statement, right?
Exactly. That's flapper fashion, is making the statement. And it was a statement that you were changing the norm.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. So before we kind of get into the last minutes of the stream, how can somebody tell a real pearl from a fake?
Ah, you guys have probably heard of this, and you don't believe it's true, but it really is. But one of the best tests is to put it on your tooth. And if you rub a pearl on, say, the bottom of your tooth, and it feels scratchy, like a fine sandpaper, then it's probably real pearl. Whereas a lot of fake pearls are going to be very smooth. I actually have a YouTube video. If you go to Matt Harris Pearls on YouTube, and
Hmm.
it's 4 ways, one, two, three, four, 4 ways to tell if your pearls are real or fake. That's one of the big tests. But go check it out and see. But you want to learn about whether those real pearls were real or fake in the 20s? You have time for that?
Sure.
Okay. So, so this is another reason I think that flappers wore pearls, because up until 1910, 16-ish or so, pearls have always been one of like I said at the beginning of this, one of the most expensive gems in the history of the world. And they were so untouchable that even different governments in time, Julius Caesar, as a matter of fact, we talked to him briefly early on, had a law for a while that you couldn't wear a pearl if you were not of a certain social class. You couldn't wear a pearl as a woman unless you were number one part of that social class, which means very wealthy and connected and married. And so single ladies could not wear pearls during Julius Caesar's time. And there's some times in Europe that was similar. So point being is that pearls have always been like the most incredibly expensive, rare, important gem. And I can go on forever about like governments and conquering and like, wars over pearls. Um, but that's what everybody's used to. And so the pearls that you and I are used to today are mostly culture pearls. So they're pearls where a human takes a mollusk and then inserts a nucleus and creates a kind of a farming method of pearls. And there's bajillions of them out there. So they're more accessible. But up until 1916-ish, when Mickey Moda, you guys have probably heard of him, came up with a way to, he came up with it a little bit earlier, but basically it was making round pearls, culture pearls. It was, which is a Japanese oyster, really started pushing them out in 1916. So where I'm getting to is that at the time that the flapper era came in 1920, these culture pearls were like barely on the market, and they were out there and they were getting affordable, and they were getting very affordable. However, the likelihood is that a lot of these pearls were fake, because, there wasn't a lot of these culture pearls yet. The natural pearls that were not made with mankind were crazy expensive. And I think part of this as well is that, again, that's showing wealth. So it's like, if I wanted to show exuberance and luxury, I'm going to show a pearl necklace, and I'm going to show a long pearl necklace, because at that time that was the ultimate display of luxury. Whereas today, pearls are great, but, diamonds have like a view in the world of jewelry as
Mhm.
like an
Yeah.
item. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's another reason that they wore pearls back in the 20s.
Totally makes a lot of sense. It's all about the statement and showing the wealth and showing your status and independence. So yeah, really fascinating. So that period is associated with the term Art Deco, right?
Yeah, it's right, like
So
20s.
I personally absolutely have like this absolute attraction to Art Deco style
Yeah.
jewelry, and it's very distinct look. So, yeah, they're like, points that, sort of make it distinct, like 1, 2, 3. Like, this is what makes something a piece of Art Deco jewelry.
Yeah, it's weird because Art Deco was actually, its life was the same life as the flapper. So Art Deco was really out of France in like the 1910s, and they didn't call it Art Deco. As a matter of fact, I think it was called Art Deco until the 60s, as a matter of fact.
Mm, okay.
But anyways, the that style, there was a lot of it in architecture. Think of like the if you guys have been in New York, the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building. Those are homages to Art Deco. So those are Art Deco buildings. And when it came to the jewelry and even the furniture, you've got these, like, first of all, really great materials. So top end materials, you've got influence in jewelry from architecture. So this type of art deco jewelry you probably like. If you look at it, it probably has very bold lines, geometric patterns, maybe um, pyramids in them. There's something about art deco jewelry, you can look at it and you can recognize it.
Very
And
distinct. Very, yes.
really
It has
easy to
that
see. Like,
very
remember chandelier earrings, you can pick them out that have like a really geometric design. I love, you and I talked about this once, the bracelets that are platinum that have like just diamonds galore, and they're just in these patterns that you look at and you like, it's Art Deco. And back then they actually cut diamonds differently as well. So it wasn't the round brilliant cut diamonds that we have now. The diamonds were a little technically sloppier cut, but to me, it's a much more romantic cut. And you can pick these diamonds out in a minute. But a lot of them were influenced by architecture at the time as well. And the jewelry, just like the flappers, they made a bold statement. That was the whole idea: is make a bold statement, and kind of portray exuberance and luxury, just like the flappers did. And platinum. If you platinum really started being a big deal in jewelry in the Art Deco period, and they got away from the yellow gold. And so one of my favorite mixes, platinum with diamonds and blue sapphires. I mean, I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Mm.
But it's interesting that the whole Art Deco period ended when the flapper period ended. And so you can't go past 1930 with Art Deco nor flappers. And what happened was the Great Depression came along. So if you're going to have something that symbolizes exuberance and luxury, then the Great Depression comes along. Where are you going to go? So it's really interesting that there was relatively short life to the flapper, relatively short life to the Art Deco movement. But I still find it and love it.
Yeah. Really fascinating. I will never look at the Chrysler Building or the same way. I'll always associate that with Art
Yeah.
Deco jewelry. That's really fun. Do you want to grab that question that came in?
Oh, I'm not
Uh,
being them all. I
okay.
see
Did
Jewels of the
okay.
Trade.
Did white gold not exist yet? I know you were just talking about platinum. So the question is,
That's my
did
friend at Jewels of the Trade. And we do some
yes?
YouTube videos
Uh-huh.
together. In the 1920's, I believe white gold did exist, yes, but platinum doesn't necessarily have the mix. So gold is a blend, as you know, of not just gold. It's not pure gold, right? And so at the time they were blending it with like a lot of nickel, and so you had people
Mhm.
with the allergic reactions. And the one good thing they realized about platinum is that you didn't get those reactions. But I
Interesting.
think yes, white gold did exist at the time.
But thank
Somebody
you. Well,
asking about the girl with the pearl earring. Can I answer?
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Take it.
Thank you for the question. Okay, this is gonna blow you away. I don't think that was a pearl earring. I think that was like a piece of polished tin. I really do. I don't think that was a pearl earring. So I do some speeches on the history of pearls. I don't include her because people ask about it. Maybe I should include her because of that, but I don't think it was.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's a bit of mystery in there. Okay. I love it. So I'm very, very excited if you guys have been listening and following along. We learned so many different things that the pearls in the flapper fashion were a symbol of statement and a symbol of status and a symbol of independence and sort of this little rebellion for the flappers. So we're very super excited because at Speaks on December 5th at both locations at our inner Prohibition party. We have so much fun. And we do bring in the
Okay.
flapper fashion. And everybody just gets dressed up and there's a photo booth and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, we have a special. So I'm looking at the menu here. There's $1 meatballs. There's a each dollar each for meatballs, dollar each for cocktail shrimp, and we're doing $5 old fashions, and there's smoked old fashioned, and Aperol spritz, and fizz. So there's all it's so much fun. I know everybody usually makes reservations and comes dressed up. Our all of our servers come dressed up and bartenders, and it's always fun for me. I'm not always able to visit both locations of Speaks all at once, but it's always fun to get pictures from the team. It's really great. Do you have anything else to share with us
Yeah,
before
I don't
we
know. I
finish
just
up?
say, like, when you go to your party and you're wearing your pearls now, I mean, now you can think that, you're embracing this tradition of boldness. You're not just wearing pearls because flappers wore pearls. And hope I was able to, like, teach people, like, why, and have you, like, be more into it now, and, like, get it when you're wearing your pearls and they're flapping around, and have a good time with it. And, bring yourself back to the age, wouldn't have been fun just to like get out there and party with these people for a little bit. I would have loved it. So,
Yeah.
live it up. And, I think a lot of the other thing with the Roaring Twenties too is that, World War I probably taught a lot of people that life can be short. I mean, look how many people died in World War I, and, live it up a little. enjoy the moment, the evening, the fashion, the food, the meatballs, the cocktails. I wish I could be there. God, it's so
I
tempting. I'm
wish
like
you
2 hours
I
away
wish
that
you were
night.
there. Yes.
Let's have a good time.
So thank you. So being that probably a lot of followers might be curious if do you have any pearls strands available
Oh,
to purchase with
yeah. So,
people?
okay, this is just for you guys for real. So I am launching a website. Find this is since March in the making. We have a kind of a one right now. Don't look at it. But it's going to be over 500 unique, individual, finished, ready to go and ship pearl pieces of jewelry. And it's coming out on Thanksgiving. The secret is that it will really be live on Tuesday because our web developer is going on vacation. I'm telling everybody else in my ads it's Thanksgiving. So if you want to go Tuesday, mattharrisdesigns.com, and you'll see,
MattHarrisDesigns.com. I'm gonna put it at the
yeah, and
top.
you'll see stuff like this that you could buy and wear at the party if you want, and get them before they sell out. These are freshwater pearls, so they're real pearls. All the pearls on my website are real pearls. I'll leave it for other people to sell the faux pearls. There's a place for them. It's just, it'll be
Do you see that there? Did I spell that correctly? Matt Harris Design.
Matt Harris Designs. Yep, that's it
All right.
with an S.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, this was amazing. I will never look at the Chrysler building the same way. Just the idea of, the movement of the pearls now is gonna make, I don't dance much. I
Get out
know whenever we
there.
get together, there's always dancing at the events where we get together. But it's so incredible to hear all the reasons why and the history, and I absolutely loved it. And I hope that you guys who have joined us today too as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Please follow
Thanks,
Matt.
everyone.
Matt, what is your YouTube channel if you want to share with us real
Type
quick?
in Matt Harris Pearls and you'll see me on YouTube.
Matt Harris Pearls. Please follow Matt on his YouTube channel. I have been following Matt's journey for about a year now, and we've met in person several times. And every time that I see you, you just have such just warmth coming out of you, and just
Aw,
genuine, and
thanks.
there's a sense of trust. Whenever we think of jewelry designers, jewelry makers, we always want to connect with them and have that sense of real genuine trust, and have somebody you know who will understand what you like, what you want, and you feel just good communicating with that person. So I feel that from you, and not just with that, but to have all your knowledge and the history, and you're just such a good friend, Matt. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today,
You too.
and thanks
Thanks
to
for that.
everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right, thank you.